Hi guys, it's Spencer. Welcome to Sphinx Reads. Today I will be reviewing Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book in a 5-book series. It is a middle grade kind of sci-fi fantasy with a little bit of steampunk. Jumping right into what this book is about, this book follows our main character, Alcatraz Medri, who is a foster child who has been through a lot of different sets of foster parents because he has the tendency to break pretty much everything that he touches. On his 13th birthday, he receives a bag of sand, which is supposed to be the inheritance that his late parents had left him, and Alcatraz doesn't really know what to make of a bag of sand as an inheritance. But one day when he is about to be transferred again to a different set of foster parents, he meets a guy who claims to be his grandfather. And he soon discovers that this bag of sand was stolen by a caseworker who was working with him and who is actually part of a cult of evil librarians who are trying to control information being disseminated into the world. This is my first middle grade book from Brandon Sanderson. One of my friends actually recommended this to me since they knew that I am a middle grade reader, and they kind of assumed that because they were a fan of Sanderson and they think that Sanderson is one of the best authors of all time, that I would appreciate this as a middle grade reader. But in my opinion, having read a lot of middle grade and a little bit of Brandon Sanderson, particularly some of his high fantasy books, I don't think middle grade is necessarily Brandon Sanderson's strongest suit. Like, I did not hate this book, but it still wasn't the best. If you're looking for a kind of nonsensical adventure story very reminiscent of Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events, this book might appeal to you. It has a little bit of an Artemis Fowl vibe going on as well. The humor is it's a little bit slapstick, but it's also kind of dry. There were a lot of hilarious moments, but it just wasn't to my taste. It was a weird mix of Lemony Snicket or Daniel Handler's humor, as well as Gordon Corman with a dash of Artemis Fowl. I haven't read Artemis Fowl, but I've read snippets, and that was just kind of the overall vibe I was getting from this book. I finished this book feeling like it was a really short story. Like, I could consider it a novella or even a short story because most of the events that take place in this book happen in one single location, which is a library. A lot of people seem to love this book for the narrator. They think that Alcatraz is really funny. I thought that he was a little bit insufferable. I didn't really like him. I didn't like the pace in which our narrator told this book. I thought it was a little all over the place, which might appeal to some people if they want just like a breakneck, fast-paced story that doesn't really follow a set structure. Like, I felt like this book was written by Brandon Sanderson on a dare, like on the last week of NaNoWriMo without any outline. Like, that is what this book felt like. I don't think it's meant to be read critically. I think you're just in it for the ride. I mean, it does touch on themes like censorship, but it's not meant to be a deep book. I talked a little bit about pacing earlier, and something that you have to know is that instead of beginning like right where we left off, each chapter starts with like a complete random aside, and it just like threw me off. Like, every time I started a new chapter, I'm like, okay, what is going on? Where are we going? You're also like really quickly thrust into the whole magic system of this world. Not really a magic system, but kind of like the overall idea of what this world is like. This is a contemporary low fantasy, so it is set in our world, but it has the involvement of a completely undiscovered part of our world. This review isn't really going to be long because I don't really have very strong feelings for this book. In fact, I don't think I would give individual reviews for the rest of the books unless I actually feel very strongly about it. I'll either do a 4-book review for the rest of the series or do two-book reviews for books 2 and 3 and then 4 and 5. I don't think middle grade is necessarily Sanderson's element. Like, I don't think he is meant to be a middle grade writer. Sure, it's a decent book. I don't have any strong negative feelings about it, but looking at it side by side with his actual like high fantasy works where he thrives like really well, this book is kind of not up to par with a lot of the middle grade books that are popular out there. I give this book 3 stars on Goodreads. I will definitely continue with the rest of the series because that is part of my goal, to read pretty much all of Sanderson this year, but I sincerely doubt that it will get any better from here. I feel like it will be just kind of neutral all throughout the series. Let me know in the comments if you're planning to read Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians. Whew, that is a mouthful. Or if you have read it, let me know your thoughts. Am I wrong? Do you think that it's a great book? Do you agree with me? If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please forget to subscribe so that you can do it later, and have a great day.